Batteries fully charged. Launch ready for WWE Aftershock in 3, 2, 1. World Wrestling Entertainment Discussion is live. Cue host Owen Finch.
Welcome everyone to the first episode of WWE Aftershock. I am Owen the Birdman Finch, your host, and I'm here with my special guest. What's going on? Pretty much this is the Aftershock rebranded a third time because it was obviously the Aftershock corner at one point, and then it was Aftershock Top 5, Flop 5, but now it's WWE Aftershock. I'm happy to do this as like a first episode. And you get to be the first one on it, Chris. This is the way I wanted it because you're the biggest WWE mark I think I've ever met in my entire life.
You're damn right.
And, you know, you watch about every show except for Level Up and Main Event. So,
You're that way.
But you never know. I could convince you. I almost convinced you to watch Main Event one week. So, I could convince you. So,
Probably not.
But yeah, pretty much, if you want a full-on conversation of what we think of WWE, since Triple H has taken over and everything, go watch State of the WWE address, WWE during Triple H's takeover or whatever it's called, because this is basically going to be a continuation of that. The goal is to make this a full-on show week after week, reviewing all the WWE content, but because of holidays and busyness, it's just going to be like a once-a-month thing at the moment. So, are you ready to talk about some WWE stuff?
Hell yeah.
Continuation. So, we're going to start by talking about all the pay-per-views that's happened since we last talked. The last one was Extreme Rules, so we're just going to kind of talk about all the pay-per-views since then. I guess they're not pay-per-views, but all the premium live events, I guess we have to call them.
I like those better. I like the name better.
Yeah. So, let's start with NXT Halloween Havoc since that was the next one. I didn't expect when this happened, like when this was announced and stuff like that, that it was going to be a premium live event. I didn't even know it really was until they mentioned that it was like on a Saturday on like a random episode of NXT, because usually when they bring back Halloween Havoc, it's usually like one of the episodes of NXT on USA Network. So it was cool that it got its own premium live event and stuff like that. So I was really happy about that. I definitely think that was a Triple H change because I think if Vince was in charge, that wouldn't have, it would have probably just been on USA Network. But yeah, let's start talking about the show a little bit. We're not going to go over these shows in detail like we did with the State of the WWE address. So let's start by talking about them. We did have a pre-show. I remember Mackenzie Mitchell, Sam Roberts, and some other like radio guy was on. I obviously don't remember his name because the show was so long ago now that like, I think he was on like one of like a pretty big radio show, but they were all dressed up in costumes and stuff, which was pretty cool. Going over the show, it started off with the North American Championship ladder match. It was Oliver Carter, Wesley, Carmelo Hayes, Von Wagner, and some other guy. I think it wasn't Grayson Waller. It was give me a second. It was
Nathan Frazier.
Nathan Frazier. Yeah, that's the only one I forgot about because he hasn't been on in a while. So, I thought it was a hell of a ladder match. It was obviously to crown the first champion since they vacated the belt after Solo Sikoa won it, which I think had just happened when we did the State of the WWE address. We kind of gave our thoughts briefly about that. And I thought everybody in this match did fairly well. I thought Von Wagner played his purpose fairly well. He was that powerhouse in the match. Wesley and Carmelo Hayes were the main standouts of the match because they did all the high spots and all that type of stuff. Nathan Frazier and Wesley worked together a lot in the match. So it was a hell of a ladder match. I don't think it's probably the worst North American title ladder match that I've ever seen, but that's saying a lot because all the North American title matches, ladder matches, are usually like 5-star matches and stuff like that. So Wesley ended up winning, which I expected to happen, but I was still kind of surprised about it because I wasn't fully sure if he was going to win. But I was really happy he won because we talked about it at the time. His career, I think everyone thought was expected to be pretty much dead. He was going to be like mainly on NXT Level Up and just on like live events, really showcase on TV when MSK had to break up due to the his partner being released. So I'm really happy that he's getting a chance to have a singles run, and I think he's knocking it out of the park right now. But what do you think of the ladder match when you watched it at the time and everything like that?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it was really good
match.
stuff.
It's again with those type of matches. Those matches don't ever miss, really.
Yeah.
Everyone in the match made sense, maybe besides Von Wagner, but
yeah,
you need the kid. You kind of need that power guy in there.
Yeah,
that's why like Kane was always in like the Money in the Bank ladder matches.
Yeah,
he was never gonna fucking win them, but
except when he did.
Well, the one that he won and won the World Heavyweight Championship, but he was always in them, but like. He never really won them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really good.
And then it followed up with the casket match between Apollo Crews and Grayson Waller. This was one of those spin of the wheel make a deal matches, and it landed on a casket match. I figured it was going to be some type of like casket match or something because when they did spin the wheel make the deal for the women's match, it was like a weapons match. So I figured they would do like a casket match or something. I kind of was surprised that it was a casket match because you had an ambulance match on the show and it was kind of the same thing. But I thought it'd be like a buried alive match. But I thought this was like a hell of a casket match. It's always weird to watch casket matches when it's not like Kane, Undertaker, or nowadays Darby Allin. But considering the fact that Apollo Crews is sort of like a supernatural character now, it kind of made sense. Considering the fact that all things considered. And then,
you don't have to make it obvious.
This is the only way that I could.
Thanks it. You can. I don't know. I was trying to incognito text him. The glare is unreal, Chris, and then he just like stopped talking. I'm like, no. That's fine. All right, continue.
But anyhow, yeah. So, so I thought it was a great idea to go with the casket match. I like the spot that they did where a Crews like went into the casket that was like broken, and then the lights went out and he was out of it, and he was like supposed to have won the match. But since that wasn't like the original casket, I like that they did that. But I thought there was some really good high spots in the match, and Apollo Crews won, but I think it protects Grayson Waller in a loss, considering the fact that he's such a good promo. He could just cut a promo and save himself, and he didn't take a pinfall. He didn't take a pinfall or like a submission or anything, and he just got put in the casket. So I was fine with it. So what do you think of the casket match?
I thought it was fine. Nothing like spectacular. It was good. No complaints about it.
Then we had I don't think this was next, but it had happened next and stuff. But we'll just talk about it all now. For the NXT Women's Championship match, they did a match, but they also did a cinematic thing where Toxic Attraction went to like a haunted house that Kaylee Ray was at, and they ended up having a big fight. It was basically the House of Horrors haunted house match that like Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes had doing the first Halloween Havoc. And I really don't think it's really worth talking about, considering the fact that once the match actually happened anyways, Toxic Attraction still interfered and Mandy Rose retained the championship anyway. So I honestly would have been all fine with that cinematic match if it led to Mandy Rose losing the championship, but considering the fact that Mandy Rose ended up retaining anyways, it just ended up being an enormous waste of time. So I'm not going to talk about it anymore because we're just wasting everyone's time. What do you think of that? It was just a waste of time.
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
I mean, I understand they probably wanted to keep the belt on Mandy for a year since she was going to get to a year like right after this show, but it was like, what's the point of doing all this bullshit if you're just going to have Mandy Rose retain anyway? So
it was so dumb.
Yeah.
She does all these things that get her like spooked out. She takes out the two members of Toxic Attraction, and then what happens? They mysteriously come back and she wins.
Yeah, and it's not
what
even.
What the fuck was the point in the first place?
It's not even really mentioned that the haunted house didn't really happen anyway, so it was really, really stupid. Then we had the weapons match. It was Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez. This was a fantastic weapons match. This is an example of they had a very good match where the storyline was trash. And they went up on like the perch and did the Ciampa Gargano spot right before the pandemic, where they all fell off the perch and all that type of stuff and went through like the announcers table and stuff. That was really cool. Eventually, Roxanne Perez runs with pop rocks onto like a stack of chairs where she finally was able to find that dark side of her and stuff like that. So that was really cool stuff. Probably should have led to a main roster call up for Roxanne Perez. They haven't done really anything with her since this. But
yeah, they haven't done anything. Really
well, like she should have at least like she should have challenged for the freaking title after this because that would have been the next logical step. But they haven't really like we've seen more of Cora Jade recently than Roxanne Perez on TV. So
yeah,
that's really weird how that happened. But I really like this. And I'm glad that Roxanne Perez won because it meant the feud was over, and I hated this feud. So that's about all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean Cora Jade's just not that good of a heel.
Yeah,
I feel like she's really forcing it, and it just doesn't come off as being like authentic at all whatsoever. And
again,
it's just the feud just needed to end.
Yeah, and again, this isn't Triple H's fault because this was a Shawn Michaels booking decision. This was before Triple H like was really in charge anyway. So this was all Shawn Michaels' fault. This feud never should have been a thing. So then we had the ambulance match between Julius Creed and Damon Kemp. This was like the sleeper match of the whole show. I thought this was great. I really enjoyed watching this. I didn't expect them to have like as good as a match as they did. The only flaw of the match was they put the ambulance backstage. So anytime they had to do an ambulance spot, they had to like drag the guy back. Like they had to go through the crowd backstage. Like it took. I feel like I get it because you can't do a normal ambulance match because you can't fit the ambulance actually in the arena itself. So you kind of had to do it this way, but it became annoying. So I don't know if they should have. I don't know what they could have done, but but. This ended up being a hell of a match. They really destroyed each other. Julius Creed obviously won, which I thought was fairly obvious that was going to happen, but I still think they did enough to make Damon Kemp look like he could have won and all that type of stuff because they could have done a storyline maybe where, like, his brother, like, basically just got injured or something, had to go away for a while, but I really liked this ambulance match. It was not my favorite match of the night, but it was like the sleeper match of the night, so I loved it.
I thought it was really good. Yeah, I liked the fact that Julius Creed won. Made sense the fact that Julius Creed won.
Yeah.
Because I think we said at the time, it wouldn't make any fucking sense to break up the Creed brothers.
Yeah.
No fucking sense at all. They don't even really have a tag team division as it is.
I know.
Now you break up a tag team? It didn't make any sense.
And it seems like Diamond Mine for the most part's done because while they do segments together backstage, like we haven't seen Roderick Strong since he got that beatdown with Damon Kemp. And then we don't really see Ivy Nile really have much interactions with them. So it seems like there's just going to be the Creed brothers really teaming up, which I think is fine. But it's just really kind of weird how Diamond Mine just kind of quietly ended. So, and then it led to the main event. It was Braun Breaker defending the NXT Championship against Jordan Devlin and Ilya Dragunov. This was a hell of a match. I thought all these athletes played the roles really well in the match. I loved seeing Dragunov and Braun Breaker go at it in this match. I really wish it had built to a singles match between them because I feel like that would have been awesome. But I thought Devlin played his part where, like, basically he was like he was the ultimate opportunist, pretty much, where he kind of came in when it benefited him. But then when they did like three-way spots and stuff, he ended up holding his own. Braun Breaker retained the championship, which I think was obviously going to happen. I think that if there was anyone that had a chance of winning, it was probably Devlin. So because of the thing where you could have had Dragunov get the pin, but Braun Breaker retained was completely fine with me, and this was just a hell of a triple threat match. I That was awesome. What do you think of this?
I thought it was a really good triple threat match. Yeah, JD McDonough was good in the match. He was really good. But yeah, I thought overall it was a really good main event. It was pretty obvious that Braun was going to win. But still, even with that, the match was still really good. Three really good components to the match. All really played off really well.
And then the thing that didn't happen, I think that everyone thought was going to happen, was that Austin Theory was going to cash in Money in the Bank because he had teased it on like the whole episode of NXT before this. But then he never showed up. I think that was just a red herring to make people think it was going to happen because that was the same week that NXT went up against AEW when they had to go to Tuesdays for that week. So it was to kind of build interest in the pay-per-view. I wish they would have had him come out maybe and like try to cash in because that would have been cool. But yeah, that was Halloween Havoc. I thought it was a hell of a show. If I was to give the show a grade, I would probably give it a B+. It probably would have been like A- had the Mandy Rose stuff not happened. So
I would say roughly the same thing for me too. I would have given an A- if Alba Fire would have won the fucking match instead of continuing on with what was going on. I mean, you didn't need the haunted, spooky elements if Mandy was just going to win anyway.
Yeah,
just have fucking GG and JC come out and fucking like help her win. It just made it look so fucking weak.
Yeah,
both times, both championship matches made it look incredibly weak.
Yeah. So then going on, before we talk about the main roster pay-per-views and stuff, we're just going to kind of talk about NXT in a nutshell, just because we're on the topic now, so it doesn't really make sense to move away from it. Let's kind of talk about NXT Deadline a little bit, since that's coming up fairly soon. We only have 3 matches announced at the moment. I expect we're going to get the rest of the card announced on NXT tomorrow night, or tonight, whenever you see this. But yeah, let's talk about what's coming up for NXT Deadline. Let's first talk about the title match that's already announced. It's Braun Breaker defending the NXT Championship against Apollo Crews. I'm really excited to see this because they've been building to this match for a while, pretty much since Apollo Crews returned to NXT. And I don't honestly think we were going to get this match had Vince still been running things, because it seemed weird because he came out and he basically announced that he was going to go for the title, and then he didn't really do anything with it. He went on to like feud with like Zion Quinn randomly, which was just really stupid. But I'm happy they're doing this title match. You know, I'm glad they built up Apollo Crews to go for the championship, and I think they've done some really good storyline stuff to build up to it. They did that segment on the diner this week where they both had like a face-off with each other and stuff. And I really don't know who could win this, because Braun Breaker's probably ready to drop the title and go on to the main roster because he's had the title for a while. And I would like to see Apollo Crews finally win some type of world championship. And I think it would be cool for Apollo Crews. Because I don't know who Braun Breaker really feuds with after this, because he's feuded with basically all the heels except for Grayson Waller. So, which we'll talk about. But what do you think of this title match coming up and the build up to it and everything? I think it's been really good.
I think it's been really good too. They needed to give Apollo some wins.
Yeah.
So I could see why he came back and didn't immediately challenge for the heavyweight championship. But overall, like, this match is going to be good, and it's going to be very good. It's going to be a very like powerhouse type match.
I could see some quickness happening though, because they're both fairly quick athletes.
But yeah, they're not like fucking lumbering hulks, but like I feel like it's going to be like just like a really good technical style match because they can do both.
Yeah, I think that's why they did that match with Braun Breaker and Von Wagner a bit ago, because they wanted to have Braun Breaker, be set up to have a match like this, because he hasn't really wrestled anyone with like his similar size one-on-one and anything like that. So then the 2 other matches that are announced on the show are both Iron Survivor challenges. Instead of going over the rules in its entirety, basically the rules it's basically King of the Mountain, except it's not a ladder match. It's basically just pinfalls, and whoever gets like the most points by the end of the match is the winner. Honestly, this is what King of the Mountain really should have been to begin with. They basically took the King of the Mountain match and I think made it better in my opinion. The thing I still don't like about it is if you get pinned, you get thrown in the penalty box. That's the only thing I don't like about it. I feel like if you get pinned, you should just not get thrown in the penalty box. You should just like get laid out for a while. Like it's really stupid.
I mean, I get why they're doing it though, because there's a lot of fucking people in the match at one time. So I get why they're doing it.
I think the only other difference though, it's like a Rumble style, right? Like two guys will start and then like a new guy comes in and stuff like that. So
yeah.
So that's the only difference.
Rumble style. Or again, it could be like not a Rumble, but just like everyone's in the ring at the same time.
Yeah. But it's essentially Ken of the Mountain, except it's not a ladder match. So
it's Iron Survivor is what it is.
Yeah, and you have like 25 minutes to win the match. You have the 25 minutes to win the match, pretty much. We're gonna have a men's one and a women's one. The women's one is Zoe Stark versus Corey Jade versus Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James versus the wild card winner. And there's going to be 2 wild card matches. Whoever wins those matches will qualify. The women's one, it's either going to be Wendy Chu, Fallon Henley, or Indy Hardwell. Going through the competitors, I think about all the competitors in the match makes sense. Maybe not Kiana James, really, because
Kiana James makes no fucking sense why she's even in that match.
But I can understand everybody else because, you know, they're all high contenders for the championships and stuff. I think Kiana James is going to struggle in this match because she's obviously the least experienced in the match versus everybody else. You could say Roxanne Perez is fairly not experienced either because she's so young, but because she's wrestled people like Rhea Ripley and all that type of stuff recently, she's, I think, going to be like one of the standouts in the match. If I had to make a guess who would win the wild card match, I'm probably going to say that it's going to be Wendy Chu just because she's kind of in a feud at the moment with Cora Jade. You could have Fallon Henley win since she's in a feud with Kiana James, but I just don't think Fallon Henley really will do well in the match. I think it's going to be someone like a Wendy Chu or Indy Hardwell who's like experienced, and Wendy Chu probably makes the most sense because Indy Hardwell, you can obviously book your way out of it because she's all frustrated and stuff with her career right now and stuff. So,
I think it's going to be Indy.
Yeah, it could be Indy too. I think it's going to be Wendy. It's going to be Indy or Wendy. So. The men's one's pretty interesting because at the moment, all the competitors are all heels for the most part. It's Carmelo Hayes, Jordan Devlin, Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy, and a wild card winner. And the wild card match this week is going to be Von Wagner, Axiom, and Andre Chase. This one's really tough to call, but if I had to say who would qualify, it's probably Axiom going to qualify because you need a baby face in the match.
I was going to say, yeah. It's either if they're going to go the baby face route, I think it's either Axiom. Or Andre Chase, but if they're gonna go a whole fucking heel match, I think it's gonna be Von Wagner.
But I would say Action's probably the best bet to qualify because if you want a baby face in there, because not that Andre Chase is bad, I just don't think he'd be able to go that because I think all his movesets pretty much he doesn't have a very variety moveset like Axiom does really. So,
but he's super old.
Oh yeah, I agree. We'll talk about him.
I think it's gonna be Andre Chase. I would love to see him in that match. Big Chase.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm really interested to see how these Iron Survivor challenges work. I'm kind of interested in the concept. I hope they can kind of do this in NXT and maybe put it to like a Survivor Series next year or something because that seems like a Survivor Series type match and stuff. But
yeah, because it's like Iron Survivor challenge series. Like,
what do you? By the way, if you had to make a guess, who else do you think? Because there's only 3 matches announced. I expect a couple more to get announced. What other matches do you think are going to get announced for this show? If you had to make
honestly, like if you think of it, Zoe Stark really shouldn't be in the match. She should be having a match with what the fuck is Zoe? Whatever the hell her name is,
Nikita Lyons.
Yeah, Nikita Lyons. That one.
Yeah.
I mean, they already determined this before the feud was already coming to a conclusion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know what else. What other Mandy versus Alba again? I could do a third time? Or is it going to be Mandy versus someone else? And is it going to be Alba Fire versus
Isla Dawn?
Isla Dawn, yeah.
Yeah, that could be happen. If I had to make some other guesses about matches that could happen is Diamond Mine versus Indus Sher. because they've been building that feud recently.
I could see that happening too. Yeah, that's because they attacked him.
Yeah, I thought they already announced that was going to happen at this show too. So I don't know why but maybe it's just not official yet. But I could see Pretty Deadly are supposed to do like a Christmas story this week, and I expect that to get interrupted. So I could see whatever team interrupts it. Maybe they announce a tag title match between them and whatever team interrupts it. But the problem is I don't know what team could even interrupt it because I think they only have like one face tag team really. So, and then I'm trying to think of like another other feuds that are going on. There's really no other feuds going on in NXT at the moment. So I could see like
Tony D'Angelo,
versus Wesley for the North American Championship. Because they just announced because I know Dominic Dijakovic's back in NXT now, but I think it's too. Oh, it's just Dijak now. I honestly didn't know that.
He's just Dijak.
But I don't expect Dijak to challenge for the belt right now because he just came back, and
they're doing a thing where Tony D is like he's like his hitman essentially, like his mercenary, because they had a backstage segment where he basically wanted Dijak to soften up Wesley.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting. But I think Dijak, if he's gonna challenge for the belt, he should win it because he needs to that would really get his career back on track because his career is back on track at the moment. Yeah. Other things going on in NXT I want to talk about real quick. First is The Rock's daughter, Simone Johnson. I forget what her name is, honestly, at the moment. Eva Raine is now with the Dyad. I think that's pretty damn cool stuff. I've enjoyed her appearance in the Dyad. Since The Rock's coming back at some point next year, I like to see him show up in NXT and try to like talk his daughter out of the group. I think that would be a cool thing, especially too because it would be cool for Joe Gacy to get some promo time with The Rock. That'd do wonders for him. And that would be a huge ratings boost for NXT if that happened. If The Rock showed up on NXT, and he lives in, he's from Florida, so he'd obviously get a huge pop anyways. Like that'd be the biggest pop I think NXT's ever had. And then also other things going on is obviously Isla Dawn showed up. We kind of already gave our thoughts about that. What's his name? Duke Hudson is with Chase U now, and he's really getting over as a babyface. And honestly, I don't think this was meant to happen. I think it was meant to be a trap. But what happened is Bodie Hayward got released, and I think they're just going to run with him being in the.
Yeah, Bodie was gone, so they needed someone else in the group. And I think they're going to. Duke's not really doing anything right now. Let's just throw him in there and see if it works. And it's worked.
It's honest. Like this is the most interesting I think he's ever been like in his career. I think it's been
because you know why? Because he's always been the boring, bland heel.
Yeah,
the boring, bland, big guy heel that everyone. It's like a Baron Corbin.
Yeah, so I've really enjoyed Duke Hudson and Chase U, and then I think that's about it for everything else that's really been going on. Obviously, the only thing what do you think of The Rock's daughter being in the Dyad? Because that's the only thing you really get to talk about.
I think it's cool. Puts the spotlight on her.
Yeah.
In NXT after she's had about fucking 7,000 knee surgeries.
I know.
It's good to see her on TV. Do I think she's gonna wrestle? Time will tell.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be a manager.
I think she's had about 4 knee surgeries. Since she signed her contract.
Yeah.
So maybe she will, but I think her best fit overall for her career is to be a manager.
I mean, the biggest problem with NXT women's division is there's not really anyone other than like Indy that has like big experience. Really, it's really because if you think about it, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez haven't been in the business really all that long either. Roxanne Perez. Has only been in the business.
Booker, so I have no doubt that she's skilled in some way.
And then Cora Jade was really coming into the business like just before the pandemic and stuff like that. So interesting to see what happens there. And then anything else in NXT that we need to talk about? I think that's about everything that's going on.
I think we covered pretty much everything going on with NXT.
So let's move on to the main roster now. We're going to talk about the 2 main roster pay-per-views that's happened since we last did a show. We're going to talk about Crown Jewel first. I think Crown Jewel, this was probably the best Saudi show that WWE's ever done. It was just really good all throughout. It was the most watched one, obviously, because of what the main event was. And going through it, it started with Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. And this match was really good. It did not go at all as I expected, and that was in a good way. Brock Lesnar ended up winning, and he ended up winning the Stone Cold Steve Austin Bret Hart Survivor Series 96 finish, where he counted the full Nelson using the top rope to counter it, which I thought was really good because it protected Lashley from a loss, and it keeps the feud going and stuff, because I think they're gonna do another match at like the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania or something like that. So I liked this a lot. What do you think of that?
Oh, I loved it. I loved the match. I thought it was really good. People thought the ending was botched. I don't think the ending was botched. I think that was meant to be that way.
Yeah, I think so too.
But at the end, like, Bobby got all of his heat back.
Yeah, so it worked out.
I mean, he looked like a fucking dominant motherfucker out there. Like he's been pushed to the moon. I think he's a heel again. So
yeah,
I mean, they could have kept him as a face, because I think it actually worked out this time with him being a babyface rather than the first time he came back to the WWE. But either way, like, he's looked really, really good, and I think a program going forward with Brock would do them both wonders.
Absolutely. And then it was Damage Control, Dakota Kai and Io Sky. They beat Alexa Bliss and Asuka to win back the women's tag team titles they had lost on Raw. I thought this match was really good. I liked the Nikki Cross interference, considering the fact, that it was a huge callback to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross's tag team. And I think a big thing that happened, we're not going to spend too much time talking about some Bray Wyatt stuff on this show, because I know he appears. I have that as its own topic. But this was the first time where the Bray Wyatt logos popped up with Alexa Bliss backstage. So that seems like they're going to put them back together, or at least have Alexa Bliss play some type of role in that storyline.
Yeah.
I like this a lot, though. I didn't really mind the fact too much that Damage Control lost the belts on Raw, because Alexa Bliss and Asuka had just come back, so they needed some momentum. And I thought what was going to happen was Bianca was going to lose the belt, so I was okay with it. But we'll talk. That's more. That doesn't. Well, we don't really need to talk about the issues with that. That's more for that match. But what did you think of the women's tag title match?
I thought it was good. I was in the camp of why do it? Why have them change the belt just for them to go back in the same week? I hate when they do that. That's always been my biggest pet peeve about wrestling in general, is they have this big emotional win, and then the next pay-per-view, whether it's a Saudi show like that, and they just lose the fucking belts back.
Yeah.
Like, in the same week. I'm like, what the fuck was the point anyway?
Yeah, I can understand that.
You could have just saved, like, either the big win for a Saudi or not done it at all.
Then Drew McIntyre defeated Karrion Kross in the cage match. I thought the way they went about this was the best way he could have done, because they both needed a win and they both couldn't take a loss, because Karrion Kross is the new act in the company. Well, not new, but, he had just come back. Yeah, he had just come back and everything. But Drew had lost, like, a lot of big matches going up to this. He lost to Roman at Clash of the Castle and to Karrion Kross in the strap match. He really needed a big win. So I thought the way they did it was the best way they could have gone about it, where they did the thing where they fought to get out of the cage, and Scarlett was the one that ended up screwing up and cost them to lose, because she locked the door for McIntyre to get out, and McIntyre just decided to climb over, but because she locked the door, it allowed Kross to not be quick enough to get out of the cage, so it made McIntyre win. So I thought they went the best way about it, to have McIntyre win and protect Karrion Kross coming out of it. So, and I love the cage match too. I think Karrion Kross and Drew have really good chemistry together. So I like this a lot.
I agree too. I thought it was a really good cage match. Right person obviously won, because they needed, again, to fucking give Drew a big win.
Yeah.
And he did, and he got it. So everything worked out.
Then Judgment Day defeated the OC. I think this was the right decision because they had Rhea Ripley interfere, and they hadn't had the person who was going to solve the Rhea Ripley problem yet. So this built up to that on Raw. And I'm pretty sure if I remember, the OC had kind of had the Judgment Day's number a bit going into this show. So, and I built real nicely to the Survivor Series match. So I didn't really have any issues with this.
I mean, it was the same old shit over and over again. For me, it just got really tired. Obviously, the right team won it. I don't think the OC really needed the win in that moment. But yeah, I just felt like it was just the same old shit over and over and over again. And I've been saying this in our chat. For the love of God, please just switch it up 1 week.
They have switched it up recently.
And they have switched it since then. So
yeah.
But going into that show, the OC looked horrific.
Yeah. Then we had Braun Strowman defeat Omos. No MVP because he was legit going to get like arrested if he went to Saudi. So they had to write him off on like SmackDown. Well, not write him off, but like basically do an injury angle where he couldn't show up. But this was pretty decent. I did see a lot. This match got some hate, but I thought it was decent. I did think it was the worst match on the show. My biggest critique was I feel like they kind of structured this match where Braun Strowman was the underdog and Omos was the dominant monster, where it should have just been they were equal. And also it only took one power bomb for Braun to beat Omos. Like Omos should have it should have taken a lot more to take down Omos than it did. So and then I'll just talk about this next match since it's kind of quick. The Usos ended up retaining the unified tag titles against the Brawling Brutes. This was obviously going to happen since the New Day were the next challengers, and they were not going to take the titles off the Usos with that match looming. So, yeah, there's really nothing to add there. But you know, I thought they had a really good match together. I don't think it was as good as the match they had on like at SmackDown a few weeks before this, but it was still really good stuff. So, what do you think of the Braun Strowman Omos match and the tag title match?
Braun Strowman Omos is Braun Strowman Omos.
Yeah,
there's nothing that can make it great. But in terms of the tag title match was awesome.
Yeah,
the Brawling Brutes look fantastic. Every team came out of that match looking like $1 million. And
yeah, they did.
It got both teams over at fucking major. I mean, the Usos obviously are still massively over, but it got the Brawling Brutes over way big, way big. There was some false finishes in there too, which made the match really fucking interesting. But yeah, I thought it was a really, really good match.
And then we had the Bianca Belair Bayley last woman standing match. This was really good. I like that they did some innovative stuff in the match. This is where we're going to talk about it. I talked about it on the Jeff Meacham Network, where I think Bayley should have at least beaten Bianca for the belt at some point, whether it was Extreme Rules or this show, because it really kind of ruined Damage's Control's momentum a little bit. And a lot of people say they want to make Bianca look good, but honestly, I don't really think it would have hurt Bianca's momentum at all if Bayley had won the belt and then Bianca just wins it right back. I think Bianca would still be in the same position. So I think that was I think it was a mistake to not have Bayley win the title at all during the feud between Bianca and Bayley. So, but anyhow, that's I thought the last man standing match was great. It was pretty damn awesome.
I thought it was really good too. It would have made sense for Bayley to win, but I wasn't upset with Bianca winning. But yeah, again, Bayley could have won, but I'm happy with the outcome. I like Bianca, so it's like either way, it wouldn't have mattered. But the way that they went in the night, I was like, oh, it'll make so much more sense if fucking Damage Control had all the belts.
Yeah.
But of course they didn't go that way because that would make sense. But yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I get like keeping the belt on Bianca, but like I fear this is coming where the crowd's going to just turn on Bianca. I can already sense it.
Yeah, let's see.
I already feel like it's coming.
And then we had the main. It was Roman retained his title against Logan Paul. I think it was fairly obvious that was going to happen, but there was some intrigue because of the fact that Jake Paul, his brother, won his fight. So maybe, like, I think it made people think that maybe Logan Paul, they would do something where Logan Paul would be the one to dethrone Reigns, since that was in the buzz. They had Jake Paul show up at the press conference the day before. And it would have obviously built some traction since Logan Paul was big in YouTube and everything like that. And this match was freaking incredible. It's really, I just really can't believe how good Logan Paul is, especially the fact that he was working hurt like throughout the match, a good portion of the match too. The biggest obviously thing was the thing that went viral was when he did the elbow drop off the announce table while he was filming a TikTok of it and stuff. So that was really cool. Roman Reigns retaining, I thought, was obvious. But yeah, I really liked it. This was incredible. And if Logan Paul had to lose his first match, I don't think it's no better place to Roman Reigns. And I feel like a lot of people complained about the fact that they did this match at Crown Jewel, but when you saw the reaction that Logan Paul got just at the press conference and on the show, like in Saudi itself, it made all the sense in the world. So I loved it.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. It's crazy. Like the match was really good.
Yeah.
How fast Logan has taken to the WWE, and he's taking it fucking seriously.
Mm-hmm.
He respects it. He loves it. Every time, like on the podcast, like if he has a wrestler on and whatnot, or if it's like after a match, he always says like how much he respects it, how much they respect that he do it, because this shit hurts.
Yeah,
this shit fucking hurts. And he has that bug, he has that itch, but he's going to be out for a while. He has a torn MCL, which isn't nearly as long as a torn ACL.
Yeah.
He'll be back in time for WrestleMania, like on the road to WrestleMania.
Which I think is kind of good for him anyways, to not show up until the road to WrestleMania. He doesn't really need to, so I mean, he probably the only thing that sucks, he was probably going to be in the Rumble this year, but now that's obviously out the door now. So, but yeah, I think Crown Jewel, was probably the best Saudi show I think I've ever seen. I think the Saudi shows now are awesome, pretty much. Like, especially the Triple H era one now, because Triple H understood like what the matches the Saudi people want to see, and also the matches like the actual wrestling fans want to see. So I thought we got the mixture of both worlds on this Saudi show. So, and then we had Survivor Series War Games, which I was at. I talked about it a lot on the Jeff Meacham show, so I won't talk about too much here. Going to the show live was awesome. As you saw where my seats were, I was in the balcony seats. And that was actually a benefit for a War Games match, because I feel like if you sit too close probably to a War Games match, you're probably going to miss everything. I was able to basically see about everything that you needed to see. Talking about the two War Games matches real quick, we had the women's one and the men's one. The women's one was Bianca, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, the returning Becky Lynch and Mia Yim, who are both back recently. They had both come back actually like just before this pay-per-view. Mia Yim the night after Crown Jewel. Well, not the night, but the Raw after Crown Jewel, and Bianca the SmackDown beforehand. And then they faced Damage Control, Rhea Ripley, and Nikki Cross. Now, obviously, I'd be mad because maybe Damage Control should have won the War Games match, but considering the fact that this was Becky's first match back in WWE, it made sense for the babyfaces to win. It closed off the book on the Damage Control Bianca feud, because obviously that feud has to be over now. And yeah, I just really like the War Games match. For the women's side of things. I know the men's one is probably the better match. I think I enjoyed the women's one more, because I don't think I talked about it on Jeff's show. It's tough to enjoy that men's one as a story point of view, because you can't really see the facial expressions that they were making during the match and everything like that. So that you kind of miss that storyline perspective. during it and everything like that. So I really liked the women's War Games match. It was really awesome. And then the men's one, which was the Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens. This was probably the best team to go up against the Bloodline because they all had some type of issue with the Bloodline. And I think everyone thought that, this was going to be the start of Sami Zayn probably getting ousted from the Bloodline because Kevin Owens was in the match. I think the basic booking would have been that the faces win, especially since they had Sami Zayn say on SmackDown like the week before this that, he basically guaranteed and put his name onto this match that he was going to win. They did the thing on SmackDown where Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens talked backstage, and Sami lied to Jay. They were building up all night that it looked like that Sami Zayn was going to not necessarily return, but he would do something to screw up them winning. And the opposite happened. It's because of Sami Zayn they ended up winning. And to be honest, I think the baby faces had the man advantage. And typically, I think that was very questionable because usually it makes more sense for the heels to get the advantage. I don't think the match would have worked as well as it did if the heels had the man advantage because it made the Bloodline have to finally come together, especially Sami and Jay have to come together and win. And yeah, it was really enjoyable. That crowd went nuts when the woman had Sami going with Jey Uso, and when Sami, like basically everything that Sami and Jay did together, the crowd lost it when Sami Zayn blowed Kevin Owens and hit the haluva kick and allowed Jey Uso to get the pin. Like, it was just crazy. And now they've added that element of the storyline where now everybody in the Bloodline, for the most part, is cool with Sami Zayn. It's really awesome. It's to the point, honestly, well, I really think we need to entertain the idea now of Sami Zayn being the guy to dethrone Roman Reigns for the freaking title. That's how good the storyline is now. I was even thinking
in close to the Sami Cammy reunion.
Yeah. Like, honestly, it's to the point now. Like, I remember we talked about how they should probably dethrone the Usos for the tag titles. This storyline's so good, I think it's going to be Sami dethroning Roman now for the freaking Universal title. That's how good.
I read a story that I read an article that said that the plan, maybe not concrete, but the plan right now is Kevin and Sami versus the Usos at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Like,
for the tag titles. I think that's when the Usos lose them, is at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to do something. My thing is Elimination Chamber. Because at the Royal Rumble, it would kind of make sense to show some dissension in the ranks. Like, they're good now, but like have a miscommunication to where Sami goes to help Roman and misses. And he hits Roman instead of hitting Kevin. And now that pisses off Roman. Elimination Chamber. Boom. The big reunion of Kevin and Sami.
Yeah, because that's going to be over as hell.
Because I think that you can do is, I think you could have Kevin and Roman at Elimination Chamber, maybe in a rematch, or a first time. I would do Roman and Kevin at the Royal Rumble, and have the screwy finish. Have Sami nail Roman, but Roman still wins, and then at Elimination Chamber, have the big reunion happen, have Kevin versus Roman in the main event, and then whatever else. I don't know how they would do it, but I think the big reunion has to happen in Montreal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's going to be
makes the most sense.
I think that reunion needs a main event, Montreal too. Not just happen in Montreal. It needs a main event because that crowd's going to be dead.
That crowd's going to be hot for that reunion. Because you know why? They all grew up within a half an hour of Montreal, both of them.
Yeah.
They both were born in Quebec. Huge homecoming for both of them. I think that it needs to happen then. And I think people, I'm going to go crazy. And I think the people in the Centre Bell in Montreal are going to go fucking crazy.
Yeah. Other things that happen at Survivor Series. What did you think of the War Games matches before I talk about
I liked both of them. I liked, obviously, Becky returning. She has to win. Too much sense there in the world. Doesn't make any sense for her to return, have her big fucking return, and then lose the match. But I thought something was going to happen at Survivor Series to where it would have shown, like, Sammy fucking up. And then the Bloodline still winning, but they don't trust Sammy. But I kind of like the way that they went.
Yeah, that the opposite happened.
I would have kept that Jay thing going on. And then, like, before maybe the Royal Rumble, they have their piece like they did. But yeah, like, I like how it went down. I like how he's an official member of the Bloodline. Just in a few weeks, they're going to turn on him anyway, but it's nice to have it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. It's great.
And that's going to make Sami Zayn a huge face, too.
Yeah, because think about it. We haven't seen face Sami Zayn, I think, since, like, 2017. Like, that's how long it's been.
It's been a long, long time since he's been a face. I think you're right. I think it was 2017 because it was the Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, where he turned, so... I think it makes all the sense in the world that Kevin Owens was there for Sami Zayn's heel turn, and now he's going to be there for his face turn again. So.
Yeah, October 8th, 2017.
Yeah. So
that's a long time.
Yeah. And then it's like, just think about this. Like, Vince, I know they said Vince started the storyline, but it's really Triple H that really elevated this Sami Zayn and the Bloodline thing, because he wasn't even really doing anything. Vince was with Sami Zayn in it. He was just kind of having conversations with him, and I don't think it was really meant to be anything. And then Triple H made it into something. Like, yeah, it's just crazy. Like, but yeah, other matches that happened at Survivor Series, we had AJ versus Finn Balor. That was awesome. It was the perfect follow-up to the Women's War Games match. And, you know, I absolutely loved it. I love the fact that they went with AJ winning, because it was really a toss-up of who could have won. And I think AJ winning was the best outcome, considering the fact that AJ Styles had not won a pay-per-view or a premium live event match in a long-ass time. It hadn't been forever. So he finally needed to get a win. And I thought this was the best way to go about it. It also keeps the feud going, because I think if Finn wins, there's really no reason for the OC to keep feuding with the Judgment Day anymore. So
hell no.
I feel like AJ
already killed it.
Yeah. So I feel like AJ went and kind of elevated the OC and AJ Styles again. So other things that happened on the show, we had Ronda Rousey retain a SmackDown Women's Championship against Shotzi Blackheart. I really felt bad for Shotzi Blackheart, because the crowd just did not care, at least in my section anyways, about Shotzi Blackheart at all. They were just chanting Sasha Banks because of where they were at and everything, and I think everyone just wanted to see Sasha Banks return, and since she didn't return in the Women's War Games match, they were thinking she was going to return there, so I felt bad for Shotzi. Yeah. So I felt bad for Shotzi, because this was like a big moment, and, you know, it was kind of ruined because everyone wanted to see Sasha Banks. And then the crowd was pretty pissed that they didn't see Sasha Banks. So, and then we had the U.S. title triple threat. It was Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins versus Austin Theory. Austin Theory ended up winning when Lashley hit a spear on Rollins, but because Lashley got laid out and everything, and Rollins went for like a Falcon Arrow. Theory ended up on top of Rollins and ended up getting the pin that way. I thought it was the best way to get the belt on Theory, because he really needed get a recovery after that crappy Money in the Bank cash and they did all that time. His career would have been dead if he did not win this title on this show. So, and you know, I like the new Theory now. He's basically kind of what he was before he did the FaceTime things and everything like that, where he's just an aggressive Theory. And I like the new Austin Theory gimmick. And I think I don't even know if it was just for the storyline or whatever, but it seems like Seth Rollins is a babyface now, because he's acting more babyface, which is weird because he still name drops Cody on occasion. So I don't know how you do that now, because I don't know how you bring Cody back now.
For the meantime, he is.
Yeah, but
I saw like someone posted like in an article like the internals the internal memos and stuff, and they have Seth Rollins as the babyface.
There you go. So, what do you think of the other matches at Survivor Series and stuff like that?
I thought Shotzi versus Ronda sucked fucking donkey dick.
Okay.
But I thought the rest of the show was really good.
Yeah, like
to bring it down. I think Ronda's a shitty champion. I just don't think that she can work with talent who are not experienced enough.
That's fair.
I mean, I get like Shotzi is an experienced experienced worker, but like her style doesn't match up with Ronda. She needs to be in the ring with like a Becky or a Charlotte or a Sasha type of person, or even a Shayna if they wanted to go that route. But yeah, she needs to be with someone who's fucking better than her.
Yeah,
because if she's not, the matches are fucking terrible. The matches against Liv sucked. This match sucked. She's just been not good. They're trying to, they're trying to capitalize on her name, and it's not working. Her star has faded so fucking far from when she debuted that no one gives a fuck about her anymore.
Yeah, because she was out of commission for like a long time. She didn't really do anything really when she left WWE a few years ago. So. Yeah, well, but other than that, everything else, Survivor Series was great. And let's talk about some other things that's been going on in WWE while, in the meantime. The biggest thing is obviously Bray Wyatt's thing that he's got going on right now, because we haven't talked about that really, because he just came back like when we did the State of WWE address and his first promo and everything. So pretty much Bray Wyatt's doing like kind of a split personality gimmick again, but this time he comes out as Wyndham Rotunda, and then the Uncle Howdy gimmick is kind of like his demons, all of his demons, basically trying to get to him and all that type of stuff. And he's finally at like his first feud right now. He just started a feud with LA Knight, which obviously now it makes more sense why they turned LA Knight heel, so that way Bray Wyatt could have like somewhat of a big name for him to feud with. Because I don't think they want to throw Bray Wyatt at like a huge name like a Braun Strowman or anything like that right now. They probably just want to give Bray Wyatt like LA Knight's a pretty decent name where that he can feud with where it's not forced or anything like that.
That can be detrimental to LA Knight too.
Yeah, and LA Knight's looked pretty decent in the feud. I mean, he's gotten the shit kicked out of him by Bray Wyatt and stuff like that. But, yeah. So, what do you think of the Bray Wyatt new gimmick and everything like that? Because I really like it.
I like it a lot. I hope that the Uncle Howdy situation. I hope it's like Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan like joining the group. That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. But yeah,
I like a different side to Bo that we've never seen before.
Yeah, and we haven't seen Bo Dallas in general since I don't even know if a lot. It was I think he got released during the pandemic, but he had been off TV for like a while before that.
Yeah, he hasn't been on TV or wrestling in fucking forever.
Yeah, so it'd be cool to see. It'd be cool to see like Bo and Bray finally do something together, because they haven't done anything together since like NXT when it first started, when the Black and Gold brand.
FCW.
Yeah, so
long before NXT.
They had a little backstage segment doing the Black and Gold NXT originally. So
yeah, but they have like been a tag team, a really like interacted in a way, since like FCW.
But yeah, so and I can understand maybe if people are mad that they're throwing LA Knight at him, because this is like LA Knight's first thing, but like LA Knight's also in his 40s, so I don't think it's gonna hurt him. And the fact that he's even in it, that he's being chosen as the first guy to feud with Bray Wyatt, like return and everything, I think it's gonna elevate him a little bit too. So I think it's pretty cool.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Then other things going on is they've I think they might do something with it tonight, but for the most part, if they don't, they've pretty much wrapped up the Dexter Lumis storyline. So how do we talk about this in the time frame that we got? Pretty much Johnny Gargano got inserted into the storyline, and he revealed pretty much that the Miz, in the beginning anyways, was paying Dexter Lumis to stalk him to get the Miz some sympathy and stuff like that. And along the way, I guess the Miz stopped paying Dexter Lumis, so it became like him actually trying to get his money. And you know, they did a lot of really good stuff. The sit down thing they did with like Johnny Gargano and Byron Saxton was really funny. And I think a lot of people crapped on it because it didn't really make sense, but it did make sense to me, because if you do watch it, because Dexter Lumis doesn't like really do anything to the Miz when he's actually like kidnapping him or anything like that.
Yeah,
and they showed Johnny Gargano play the voicemail of the Miz having some type of conversation with Dexter Lumis, telling him to like do the chokehold and everything like that. And then they did a thing where the Miz went to like a restaurant and he thought he was meeting with a agent or some type of like big movie producer, but it ended up just being a PI got Johnny Gargano freaking hired. And the Miz basically revealed that he had been paying Dexter Lumis. And it led to a match. It was supposed to happen at Survivor Series, but they cut the match, I think, because it probably would have made Survivor Series go too long, because I know they're for being there live. By the time Survivor Series was over, it was like 11:15, 11:30-ish. So, and a lot of people had to leave, I didn't even say this, during the main event because of a lot of people took the train in and stuff, and the train, I think the last train came in at like 10:45. So a lot of people, I think, would have had to miss the entire main event had they put the Miz versus Dexter Lumis on there.
That's fucking Boston for you.
Yep.
Train sucks.
Yeah. So they ended up doing the match the next night on Raw, and Dexter Lumis. I mean, the Miz got some offense in, but let's be real. Dexter Lumis pretty much wrecked the Miz last week.
Oh yeah.
I don't think. And afterwards, he got his money and he got a WWE contract. He ended up like handing the money over to probably what will like Make-A-Wish Kids IOL, but it was like fans were inside and stuff.
I think it was just like a fan thing.
Yeah,
they're doing.
And when the Miz tried to
they showed the spending spree.
Yeah, and then the Miz attacked Dexter Lumis and he tried to get his money back, but then the Johnny Gargano laid out the Miz, and I don't know if the feud's necessarily over. I could see something happening where Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis team up to face like the Miz, and obviously the Miz is going to have to get like some type of tag partner or something like that. I don't know who that would be, but because obviously if Ciampa was able to go, it'd be Ciampa, because I feel like that's what it was also building to, was maybe like Gargano and Lumis versus Ciampa and the Miz on like a Raw or something. But I really liked the Miz, the way they tied up the Dexter Lumis storyline. What did you think of it?
I really liked it too. I liked how they tied it up, and in the very end, the right person won, which was Dexter Lumis. But yeah, I thought the stuff in the restaurant with the Miz was fucking hysterical.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like when he's like when he's talking to the private investigator and they have the camera on him. I was dying. That was so funny.
That was awesome. And they were able to keep this storyline had gone on since like August. They were able to keep this storyline going on for a long time. It did something new with it every week, which was really
practically without physicality.
Yeah, because I feel like the Dexter Lumis just attacked the Miz and stuff. And Dexter Lumis just recently reunited with Indy Hartwell on like an NXT live event like over this weekend. So that's cool stuff right there. Then recently SmackDown did the World Cup. Basically they brought back the trophy that Shane McMahon won when he became supposedly the best wrestler in the world. Just don't tell Noah Fawcett that. Oh my gosh, he'll freaking murder you. He'll freaking No, you don't. I don't want Noah. Noah will legit kill you if you tell him that. So don't do that. Soccer was doing a World Cup IOL, so SmackDown basically did one, and I really liked SmackDown's. I don't watch soccer, so I can't say if it was better than the Soccer World Cup. It probably was, because didn't one of the games on soccer like go to a no contest somehow? So there There was no matches in the World Cup that went to a no contest, so I think that kind of says that the SmackDown one was better.
Definitely yes.
But yeah, I like the SmackDown World Cup. And they did a lot of really good stuff with it. If I had to say my favorite match of the tournament, it was either the finals with Santos Escobar and Ricochet, or Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali, the match they had on SmackDown a few weeks ago. But it was a really good World Cup. I thought it was awesome. And they did several things in the World Cup. Like, they had Braun Strowman in it, and they basically had Imperium, because the winner was going to face Walter for the Intercontinental Championship.
Wow, he's going to face Gunther.
He's going to face Walter to me. And, the plan, if it's at Mania or the Rumble, is to do Walter versus Braun Strowman for the Intercontinental Championship. But you obviously knew they were going to hold off on that, because it's like, they could have Braun win the tournament, but I think you should hold off on doing Braun versus Walter. So, I like the fact they went with Ricochet. They had Imperium interfere and cost Ricochet, Braun Strowman the match, and help Ricochet win. And then Ricochet ended up defeating Santos Escobar this past week on SmackDown. And on the December 16th, 2022 episode of SmackDown, it's going to be Walter versus Ricochet, the big rematch. And I know we've seen the match before, but I feel like we get to really see what these two can do. Because when we saw this match before, it was under Vince's WWE, and Vince really didn't care about Ricochet. So he basically, Walter just squashed Ricochet in like no time whatsoever. I think we're going to get really see what... I think we're going to really see what Ricochet can do against Walter for the IC title. So I really liked the World Cup, and I loved how they furthered feuds in the thing, and I loved who they went with winning and stuff like that. So, what do you think of the World Cup? I know you don't really, you never really can watch SmackDown and stuff, but from what highlights you've seen of it or whatever.
That's good. I like the idea, I like the premise, like you said. There's a World Cup going on right now in the world. US is out. Too bad. But I thought it was really good, really well executed, really well done. Again, this could be the start, but they're doing something with Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was good. I thought it got Ricochet over like crazy. Yeah. Right person won.
Do you expect Ricochet to win the belt, though? I don't think he's going to win the belt. I think he's going to have a really good performance.
Yes, and, I'm the same way. I don't think he's going to win the belt, but I think he's going to put up a really good effort and a really good fight.
Yeah.
Like a babyface type of fight that they usually put up in matches like that against big dudes.
And then they've this is where we're going to differ. They've continued the Mysterio family drama, because I know you don't love the storyline, but I really like the storyline. They had Rey Mysterio go to SmackDown. It had just happened when we did the State of WWE address, and he feuded with Walter for the IC title. Had a really killer match with Walter just before the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, and that was a hell of a match. And then on Thanksgiving Day, Dominic Mysterio tried. I don't even understand what Ray was even thinking here. Like, Dominic was trying to come over his family's house for Thanksgiving. Ray wouldn't even let him come over.
He lives at home. Why did he leave?
He had to get Rhea Ripley. He had to get Rhea. Yeah, he tried to come over his family's house, and Ray told him to leave. So where was Dominic gonna go then? I don't even understand where he was gonna go. Was he just gonna go like live on the streets? Yeah. Was he gonna go to that? Was he gonna maybe the diner that Apollo Crews hangs out at? Maybe that.
Oh yeah, the random undescriptive diner, nondescript diner.
And then, but yeah, Dominic Mysterio like destroyed his father. Well, supposedly his father, but we still know that's really not his dad. But he beat the crap out of him. He took like a family picture and he smashed it off of Rey Mysterio's head. He took
shitty son.
He took him downstairs and he took a broom and he smashed it over like the walk-in boot that Rey Mysterio was wearing. And everybody, What a terrible family, by the way. He doesn't even come break it up. None of that. What are you doing? Like,
fuck about Ray. Poor guy.
I know. Like, they just like
enjoy Thanksgiving with his fucking family. And his stupid son had to come in and ruin everything.
That's what Rey Mysterio gets for putting a Christmas
tree. What an asshole.
Apparently, Dominic Mysterio's... That's what Rey Mysterio gets for putting the Christmas tree up on the day of Thanksgiving. You wait till after Thanksgiving to put the Christmas tree up.
What an asshole son.
But I really liked how they furthered it, because it wasn't even like they did it on like SmackDown or anything. They did it like on Thanksgiving Day. They probably realized that they were going to do a post on like Instagram and stuff, and they realized they would have broken kayfabe and stuff, so they wanted to find a way to kind of have it stay kayfabe. Ray didn't even get to... the only thing I hope for is that Ray at least got to finish his Thanksgiving dinner. That's the only thing I hope for.
It didn't seem like it because his asshole son came.
It doesn't even seem...
house and then came back.
It doesn't even seem like his son got to even have any Thanksgiving dinner. I don't even know what he had. Like, did he have anything for Thanksgiving dinner? I don't even know.
I hope he ate nothing.
I think he left.
Shit.
And then he left. He just left. I don't understand where he was going. Where's he going? Like,
I don't know, some fucking shitty motel somewhere. Grungy hotel.
I like
part of San Diego.
I liked this. I thought it was a really cool way to continue the storyline. Obviously, you're just mad at Dominic Mysterio. Like I said, I don't know where.
He's a shitty son. How dare he do that to his legendary father?
He did just. He also
legendary holiday.
He also broke his broom too. That shit's expensive. Like, how's he?
That's not cheap.
Yeah,
that shit ain't cheap.
He broke his family picture. He broke a family picture over his head too. He's gonna clean. Who's gonna clean that up? Because Ray probably had to clean that up.
I hope he comes back and cleans the house.
And then Rhea didn't even get to spend Thanksgiving with her family. Well, I don't think Ireland celebrates Thanksgiving. Anyways, Ireland / the United Kingdom and stuff. I don't think they celebrate Thanksgiving, so I guess Rhea wasn't missing out on anything. So, yeah, I don't even know this.
Kitty son.
I don't know what else to say about this. It was he's
a scumbag.
We've had the continuation of Liv Morgan's character change. She's basically just going back to the Liv Morgan we saw in the Wyatt Squad. And I think it's been really good. It's getting Liv Morgan over again as a babyface. And I like the fact that they didn't do what Vince would normally do, where if a babyface like doesn't get over, he just turns the heel and doesn't really fix the problem. I like that Triple H is actually going to keep her face and actually like fix the problems of Liv Morgan. And so far it's worked. And it looks like maybe she's going to team up with, because Tegan Nox recently just came back this past week on SmackDown, and they took down Damage Control. So it looks like she may team up with Tegan Nox to face Dakota Kai and Io Sky for the Women's Tag Team Championships. So, what do you think of this?
I thought it was good. I like the fact that that Tegan's back.
Yeah.
She didn't get much of a reaction, but I don't give a fuck. I'm just happy to see that she's back in the company again.
Yeah, I don't think she got much of a reaction. We talked about that on the Jeff Meacham Network, how like a lot of these returns, I guess, don't get much of a reaction because the mainstream audiences doesn't know them and stuff. So they have to like look it up and stuff like that. But I just personally enjoy the returns. And some of the returns, like, you didn't really need vignettes for. Like, I understand a lot of people were mad that Johnny Gargano came back and didn't get a vignette, but I feel like it would have, some of these two returns would have gotten ruined if they got vignettes.
He doesn't need a vignette.
Yeah. And also too, I even said like Johnny Gargano came back. He didn't just come show up on a random Raw either. He showed up in the same venue where him and Ciampa won the tag title, so everyone in that arena at least knew who he was and everything like that. So, continuing, Matt Riddle and Elias are a band now, baby. They're a tag team. Elias came back recently, and Matt Riddle's been trying to be in a band with him. He's got bongos now, and he has people hit the bongos and everything like that. Jimmy Uso really hit that bong really hard. He hit that.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Jey Uso wasn't having. Didn't he tip the bongos over and that stuff like that? That was being a meanie. That was mean. It was mean. But then, yeah, they're a band now, and they're gonna challenge tonight for the unified WWE Undisputed Tag Titles, whatever they're called. And I'm really happy for them. They're probably not gonna win the championships because they're not like a you know, they haven't really been able to practice playing any gigs together or anything like that. So they haven't had that practice yet. So, and I like the tag team. The only thing that sucks about it is it is a bit of a demotion for Matt Riddle, since he was just like in a feud with Seth Rollins not even for the U.S. title, like in a really interesting storyline. But I don't even care. Matt Riddle's doing so awesome with this. He can go anywhere except main event. Don't go there. Don't ever go there. But what do you think of the band that's being formed between Elias and Matt Riddle?
It's Elias on one side, and it's Matt Riddle on the other. Put them together, and you get a tag team.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a funny tag team. But yeah, it's the whole like. Yeah, I like when he came out dressed as Ezekiel, Matt Riddle.
Yeah,
that was so fucking funny. But yeah, I think it's a good tag team. Again, like just throwing Riddle into another tag team. But I think this one is going to work just as well as RK Bro did.
How's Baby Orton feel about this too? He's freaking getting a new partner while he's out on the shelf. Like, what are you like? He's probably jealous.
What a terrible tag partner.
Yeah, like
he also kept the shitty version of his theme song too from the RK Bro theme.
Yeah. Let's keep going here. Emma came back recently. This was one of the returns that I wanted to happen, and she came back and was like, she showed up and challenged Ronda for the belt and didn't win it. Her return's been okay so far. I think she came back at a bad time because that women's division's so loaded right now that like there's not really a storyline for her. Maybe she should have gone to NXT first, and maybe like beat Mandy for the belt. But they're doing a thing right now where she's gonna be. They're doing a relationship angle with Madcap Moss because they're dating in real life, so they're just gonna put it on screen. So that's been pretty decent. It's been pretty okay. So, what do you think of Emma being back?
I like it. I would not have done that return that way. But that's just me. I would have put her in more of a prominent role. But she's back. She looked strong in the match at least. But yeah, the Madcap and Emma relationship, I don't know. I haven't seen SmackDown in a while, so I don't know if it's like progressed past the fucking flirtation stage where she's trying to find him.
Yeah, they found each other.
Okay, so they did. So they didn't. So she found him even though they went to the arena together and shared the same hotel room. And came to the arena together, but she somehow didn't know where he was, and then she found him.
Well, maybe it is a big arena, Chris. You know, maybe he went to catering and then he got lost. So she's trying to find him. You know, you got to think of that.
A while.
They found each other at least, you know, like.
Yeah, they did.
They found each other 2 weeks ago. Okay, 2 weeks ago. How long? What did you want? What did you want her to find her in 2 seconds? 2 minutes?
Just like, hey, here I am.
That's not how hide and seek. That's not how hide and seek works. You gotta milk it a little bit. You gotta hide 2 weeks and then you come back. So,
but what if they don't? What if they just say, "Hey, here he is"?
Well, then that's not good story.
It's Madcap Moss.
Technically, she doesn't even know him. She doesn't
Still
really
don't know
him
why he has that name, by the way.
I don't know.
He's Madcap Moss.
Madcap.
Don't know why.
Why does Walter still have the other name? So,
it's Guta.
Why does he still have that? Why does he still have that name? Why does he still have it?
Because it is his name. That's why.
Well, Madcap Moss, that's his name then.
That's his real birth name, Madcap Moss. His parents wanted to go outside the box, and they named him Madcap. 2 words. Mad is his first name, and Cap is his middle name.
Yep. And then, have you been able to watch any of Maximum Male Models like YouTube show? Did you go and watch any episodes of that, or did you?
No, I haven't watched any of it actually.
It's only 6. I said it's only 6 minutes out of your life. You have to give up. Why didn't you give up those 6 minutes out of your life? You had time.
6 minutes.
You could have done 2 minutes a day.
Could I have?
You could have.
But no.
If I could find the time, you could have found the time. But
I didn't want to find the time.
They were doing a thing where it's basically like a parody, model reality show. It seems like they're trying to find the next maximum male model. They haven't done an episode in a bit. They didn't do an episode before NXT Takeover War. No, sorry, not NXT. Survivor Series War Games. But we've had bigger things going on since the maximum male model things. Okay, but I don't even think whoever joins maximum male models is probably going to be some like jabroni like Bodie Hayward or like. What's not Bodie Hill? What's the guy's name? Javier Bernal. It's probably gonna be like him. He'll probably join it, and he'll get jobbed out every week, and we're all gonna love it. We'll love it.
No.
We have main event continuously improving. You don't believe main event's improving because you think main event sucks, but I disagree. I actually think it's better than Dark and Dark Elevation now because they have NXT talent go up and face main roster talent, and it's not like they face main roster. It's not like how the AEW does it, where they had. Remember that guy a few months ago that like showed up and faced like QT Marshall, had a really good performance, and then he lost, and he was like never on ever again. You at least believe there's a chance that they had Joe Gacy go up and like face Cedric Alexander. That's not predictable. There's a chance Joe Gacy could beat Cedric Alexander. So
it
didn't happen. Obviously, he didn't though, but it could have. It could have. They did stop the R-Truth Shelton Benjamin storyline they were building there because Truth is injured. So the injuries stop all storylines from ever happening. So, if someone's injured, they're injured. We can't do anything.
Oh, yeah, you can. You can say, fuck you. You're not being injured.
Well, then that's not good. Then they have to go to HHR and all that type of stuff. Do you want that to happen?
I mean, if they want to.
Other things going on is we've had the death of the 24/7 championship. What happened was Nikki Cross defeat Dana Brooke for the belt a bit ago, and they just threw the belt in the trash, and they basically deactivated the title. I believe we predicted this was going to happen soon, since Triple H didn't care about this championship. No one else really cared about the belt, and I'm surprised USA Network was okay with this belt going away, but I'm all for that belt going away. That belt I never even liked that belt to begin with. But what do you think of the 24/7 title being gone now?
I like the belt. I thought it was a unique concept. I liked it. Kind of bringing back the old hardcore era style. 24/7 rules, but eventually it just became like a stupid comedy gimmick. That was like R-Truth held the belt for 7,000 times, and it was the same people.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. It wasn't new. It wasn't different. It wasn't like anything could change. It'd be like, it would be interesting if I know this was out of left field, but if Roman Reigns won it.
Yeah.
Or if one of the Usos won it. Give some fucking prestige to the title. But at the same time, it just became stupid. They still do it on the house show circuit, so it's not completely dead, but it's not featured on television anymore.
They still should have gone with my idea of that being the future championship on main event, but I don't think you really care about that idea, Chris, because you're not going to watch main event anyway.
Fuck main event.
I feel like Roman Reigns and the Bloodline could show up on main event, and The Rock could show up and dethrone Roman Reigns there, and you wouldn't even watch. You still wouldn't watch main event if that happened.
Yeah,
they could do I feel like we would be at main event live, and you would find a way to still not watch it, even if you're there live.
I would literally not watch it. I would literally be like, "Yeah, I'm leaving."
I feel like you'd leave the whole arena too. You'd just be like, "See,
I go home."
I feel like you'd walk home too. You wouldn't even you hate main event so much you're willing to suffer.
I'd walk a fucking 3 days it would take for me to get home.
Next, Baron Corbin has a new gimmick. He's basically aligned with JBL now, and JBL is his mouthpiece. I really like the partnership between Baron Corbin and JBL. It's really awesome. Where JBL just basically... Huh?
Mr. Jibbles.
Yep. And JBL, they did hit a bump in the road when they lost to Drew McIntyre last week, and they went on.
Again, Drew needed another win, so yeah.
Yeah, but they're doing a thing where JBL is going to have like some type of poker game tonight, and I think Tozawa is going to come back again. He's going to take all his money again. That was hilarious. I don't know what week that was when the Tozawa freaking stole all the. He got played by Tozawa.
He's no longer a ninja. He's
I like that.
Akira Tozawa again, back to his original gear, back to his Dragon Gate gear. I think is what it was.
See, and he's done. He had that
shorts and the blonde hair.
Yeah, he had that in the CWC too for a bit too. So, yeah, I like Baron Corbin's new gimmick and everything like that. He doesn't have to. JBL does most of the talking. I think the only time Corbin talks is if it's a backstage segment. Other than that, JBL does most of the talking. I love when he goes on commentary and he just freaking rags all over Kevin Patrick, and he just buries him pretty much.
He just buries. You know what's funny too is it's going to the right audience because his gimmick is that like he's making fun of like liberals.
Yeah,
it's really funny because if you read the stuff online, they're getting pissed off, like legitimately pissed off.
I love it.
See, you guys, you're falling right into WWE's trap.
Yeah,
they want you to hate them. They don't want you to like JBL. They don't want you to be like, oh, I remember you being fucking having long black hair and drinking beer and with Farouk. I'm like, I don't. I'm like, that's not what they want you. That's not what they want him to be remembered for.
Yeah.
They want him to be remembered as this fucking asshole that would come in and make fun of Eddie Guerrero for being Mexican. That's the that's the person that they want to bring in.
By the way, can we talk about how that was even more non-discreet than the original one I did? I completely moved all the way over, and you didn't even.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever.
That was.
It's not a glare anymore, though. At least somewhat. It's over your shoulder and whatnot, but it's not like on your face or anything.
By the way, I want to make this known. I didn't move for the fans. By the way, I moved because the sun was in my eyes. I moved for me. I don't move for any of you.
The fans. Just kidding. We love you. Best ever.
Yeah, I think my subscribers are gonna go back down. It was at 390, and I basically just did all that work on the Jeff Meacham network just to go right. Those 390 subscribers are freaking like. Why did we subscribe to this person? He won't even move out of the sun for us. So, but anyhow, yeah. So yeah, I like the JBL gimmick.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's doing exactly what it should do: elicit hate.
Yeah,
when you're a heel, they're supposed to hate you. They're not supposed to like you. But I think the concept of a heel has been lost in the wrestling world.
Whoever would have thought, by the way, too, that a pair up between Baron Corbin and because if you think about it, the fans feel the same way about JBL as they felt. No, I'm sorry, the fans feel the same way about Baron Corbin as they felt about JBL, like back in the day, pretty much. If you think about it, too.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
So I love it, and I love that it gets. I like that it gets Tozawa noticed again. So
it's Tozawa's back. Fucking being interesting again.
I mean, he stole JBL's hat. You don't steal somebody's hat.
I still think it's kind of funny that he's being the serious Baron Corbin, and he still has the fucking Happy Corbin theme.
Yeah, pretty much. But
I'm like, at first, I'm like, this doesn't fit, but I'm like, it's actually hilarious. Like, that he's still using that theme.
And then the Viking Raiders came back recently, and it's exactly what I thought.
The new vicious Viking Raiders?
Yeah. And Sarah Logan's back now, but she's not Sarah Logan. She's called Valhalla now, which is fine. This got some hate, though, because Sarah Logan, I guess the way she was dressed was a lot like Max the Impaler. And I think a lot of people, she got shat on for ripping off that gimmick. So I think that I don't know if they might end up pulling the plug on that character because
they are. I mean, they have a point, but at the same time, if you actually look up like women like Viking makeup and like stuff like that, it actually is exactly what she did. So she's not really ripping off anyone. But it's just like, oh, it's this. She's ripping off Max. I'm like, she's not though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
She's post-apocalyptic warrior. whereas she's Viking. Two totally separate things. They may look similar, but Sarah Logan did not rip off Max the Impaler at all whatsoever.
Yeah. But I think what doesn't help is they kind of look alike when she puts on that makeup too. So that also doesn't help.
I think they're gonna go with it. I don't think they're gonna change it because she's not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's not like Max the Impaler's making any money doing the gimmick she's doing. This so
still on the indies.
Whatever. Yeah. And this also happened. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to have a match in Pro Wrestling Noah in another month now. He's going to be he's part of that tour with the Great Muta because he's on his retirement tour. And if I can find a way to watch that, I'm totally going to watch that because I'm really happy about that. Because that's something that's a change in Triple H's WWE. Because that definitely would not have happened if this was Vince's WWE. The fact that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to go over to Japan and wrestle the Great Muta in like his retirement match. Well, not his retirement match, but part of the retirement tour.
That's interesting. I love it. I honestly love it. They actually approached Vince early in the year, Noah did, and wanted to do this. And it was almost completely dead until Triple H took over, and he thought it was an awesome idea. And they got the deal done. And I think it's fantastic. I mean, Great Muta, fucking Hall of Fame legendary wrestler. It's probably the way he's going to get to the WWE Hall of Fame, by the way, I think.
Yeah, so that's...
I think it's going to happen eventually. Even though he's never wrestled for WWE, I think he's going to go in within the next year or so.
Well, they own WCW, so...
Yeah, they do own WCW, but he's never been on WWE TV.
But I'm saying because they own WCW, that kind of... I think that's why because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of WCW talent that never wrestled with WWE that they signed. That
is true because it's under the parent company.
Yeah,
but I love it. I think it's fucking awesome. Like the fact that Shinsuke is going back to Japan to go wrestle Great Muta. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great exposure for WWE to see like, hey, might be able to work with them in the future. Whether it's, Noah, whether it's Japan, New Japan, or if it's even AEW, who knows? Like,
well, it's not, as you know, until AEW can sort their stuff out, it's not going to be them. So
by working together, I mean Triple H is going to buy them in a year anyway.
Yeah,
well, the way that company's going. But yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Shinsuke gets to go back home to his home country in Japan and wrestle one of the pioneers of wrestling in Japan, pretty much.
I know. I would like it if like one of his retirement matches, since he's on a retirement tour, I don't know when his tour is over, if one of the matches on his tour is in WWE too. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Royal Rumble or...
Yeah, maybe make a Royal Rumble appearance. I think awesome. He's got to show up in the Great, because I don't think he's going to be in the Great Muta like attire when he does Pro Wrestling Noah, because he does it.
I think he might be Keiji Muto, but which obviously is his actual real name and what he wrestles as in Japan too. But I think because he's going out as the Great Muta, I think it's going to be Muta. I don't think it's going to be Keiji Muto.
I think though, if he goes to WWE and does a Royal Rumble appearance or something, he should come out obviously as the Great Muta.
I think he is. I think he'd do that. Yeah,
that's how everybody knows him as. And I remember when he came out as the Great Muta, when in AEW, he looked so much. He looked like he de-aged like 10 years because of the gimmick and everything like that.
Oh yeah, so. The Great Muta gimmick's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a fucking great gimmick. Made him a lot of money, gave him nationwide exposure.
And then I just have like an open forum where we can just kind of talk about whatever we want to talk about for the next half hour or so. Is there anything that's like, going on WWE wise or that you want to happen in WWE wise that you want to talk about?
There's one major thing. Major. And that is the one and the only Lord William Regal is coming back to WWE. 100%. He's going back. I posted like a million things about him in our chat. I am fucking pumped that he's going back.
Yeah.
He realized he made a mistake in not waiting it out. EC3, I think, was talking with him or had insider information because he got a text when he was streaming that said that I mean, it's tough to it's really it's he said she said with EC3, but like he said that in Regal's contract that he had a clause that said that if Triple H came to power, Regal would be let out of his contract and he would go back to WWE. And I mean, EC3 is not in WWE anymore. So, I mean, it's interesting, but at the same time, it seems kind of insane. But if you think of it now, he's going to be back in WWE in fucking January, which is next month.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the new year. I'm like, so that has me thinking, like, he had something in his contract that he could leave in December. And he did. And that goes to show you sloppy shop in AEW there. The fact that he signed in March and it's December and he's gone. Not even 1 year into his contract. And this isn't like what WWE used to do when they sign lower level indie talent and they release him after 3 months. This is fucking William Regal.
Yeah.
This is one of the most legendary professional wrestlers of all time. One of the most one of the most legendary wrestlers to ever come out of the United Kingdom.
I mean, not just that, but
after signing in fucking March.
Not just that too. Like he was like the big talent scout in WWE for so long that signed all the talent pretty much the WWE that made NXT what it was. Like
exactly, that was him. It was literally him. And guess what? He's going back to do the exact same fucking job as he was doing before.
Think about this.
WWE once again is going back to scouting indie talent. They should have fucking done that all along.
Think about this too. He was backstage doing docs and stuff. Probably scouting the talent, enhancement talent.
The unsigned talent that was there. Are you kidding me? He's there for fucking TV. They fucking tape 35 hours worth of TV in one night. You don't think he's back there looking? Maybe. Let's see what he does up there in New York.
Yep.
The old saying used to be, once you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Yeah, let's get up there. Let's go see the McMahon Helmsley regime up there in Stamford, Connecticut.
Honestly, I'm not. This could be the biggest mistake AEW has ever made. Not just letting Regal go, but putting a clause like that into
letting him have a clause in his contract like that.
To be fair, they probably didn't think that Vince was going to be freaking retired in a few months, but still, like, you don't put a clause like that. Consider the fact too that it wasn't just because I know they're going to say, well, they didn't think Vince would retire. Vince was also in like his mid 70s. You don't put a clause like that to a guy
like 77.
70. Yeah, you don't put a clause like that because Vince could have still retired at any moment. At 77, like this was a fucking massive mistake for AEW. What were they thinking? What a bunch of...
It's another one of those little mistakes that become major mistakes.
Yeah, this is going to be...
The first one is Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
That was major mistake. That was a little mistake that turned into a major mistake. This one, too, is a little mistake that is going to turn into a major mistake.
Yeah. Do you think he'll be back as like the general manager of NXT, or do you think he's going to stay primarily? I
think it's an office role. I mean, he could be back as the GM of NXT. That wouldn't surprise me. But I heard too that maybe they're going to do GMs again. Maybe he'll be the GM of Raw or SmackDown.
That'd be nice. Yeah, maybe SmackDown because I think Adam Pearce can easily just do Raw himself. So
it's just once I saw that. I was like, there's no way. I'm like, he just got there.
Yeah.
And then once it happened, because Meltzer reported that he had an out clause, and I didn't believe it at first. Like I saw that he had obviously Meltzer's in tune with what's going on in AEW, so I just assumed that he was full of shit. And it turns out, the first time, Meltzer was actually right.
I know.
It's been a long time since Davey Boy has been right. I will give him credit where credit is due. Yeah. He was right in the fact that he found out that Regal had a no clause in his contract.
Yeah, this is...
And he exercised it from March to fucking December. He didn't even last a year in AEW.
I know.
They didn't even make him last a year. Apparently, someone for Justin LaBar from Busted Open, I posted in the chat earlier that he said that they weren't really receptive to his teaching. Imagine that, William fucking Regal. You're not going to sit there and listen to him.
What the hell?
But
what do you mean by
Brian?
What do you mean by that?
He made a comment about it and said that he was one of the ones that was in the group with Regal and listening to him, which I'm not surprised because Brian always wants to learn.
Yeah.
He's another guy. I fucking said this a million times. He should be in WWE right now.
Oh, yeah. You know, by the way, once his contract's up, William Regal's contacting him. Like,
oh, fuck you. Are you kidding me? They can make him into a fucking star in an instant. It's pretty fucking easy. They wouldn't disrespect the legacy of Brian Pillman by bringing his son into a job like the fucking AEW has.
Yeah. We've talked about that, yeah. I just can't believe that fucking AEW did, like, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, this is just, like, what the...
The dumbest thing they could have ever done.
Yeah.
The stupidest and dumbest thing I think Tony Khan has ever done, besides letting Cody leave, is putting a fucking clause in William Regal's contract and let him have the goddamn clause in his contract.
Yeah.
You sign a 3-year deal, you're here for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, I don't think that, I mean, he was very steadfast in not including clauses in Alice and Malachi Black's contract or Buddy Matthews. And Buddy Matthews' contract runs up soon, too, also. And he already is having flirtations with WWE again. That is someone else who is probably going to return within the next few months.
Yep.
Another one that's going to be a minor mistake that's going to turn into a fucking major mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Because, first of all, they don't know what the fuck to do. Why are they misusing him? People thought that when he was in WWE, he was a massively underutilized and misused talent. And that was true. That was very true. But he went to AEW and somehow got worse. They somehow misused him from the fucking beginning.
I know.
Instead of having him feud against Malachi Black, they made him join him? That didn't make any sense. Like, little things like that turn to major things, and next thing you know, boom. This fucking video game better be good and better sell, or this company's going under.
It could, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Because, like, they're going to lose CM Punk now, which was, like, you know, what we could say what we want about him. That was one of their biggest draws. And in 2024, if things don't change, they could lose MJF.
And if things don't fucking change, they're also probably going to lose 3 of their executives.
Who probably shouldn't be executives anymore anyways.
Yeah, exactly, yes. They're going to probably, to a certain degree, Bucks and Kenny are free agents come early next year.
Mm-hmm. And things not going well for them right now in AEW. So
I keep seeing people say on Twitter, like, oh, why would WWE want the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega? Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They tried fucking 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, under
Vince's started.
Under Vince's WWE too. Like,
yeah, exactly. Because I saw the draw that they were, but they're already deep into the whole fucking startup of AEW. Had AEW not been a thing, the entire elite would have been in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
That includes Hangman, Kenny, Cody, the Bucks, Who else was gonna? Probably Daniels and Kazarian.
Yep.
Because they're close with them too.
I mean, yeah. So you don't even
Scorpio's guy, like the entire fucking people who are being the elite.
They could end up. They can end up being gone again. Like, think about. They got to make some.
Just crazy.
Yeah, AEW's got to make some changes. Like,
they're gonna have a major shakeup of the next. I would give it a year because they're on the verge of losing 4 key components to their company.
Yep.
In Max and Kenny, Cody, and Nick, Kenny and Nick Jackson, and Matt Jackson. 4 key fucking components to their entire roster and the entire construction of the goddamn company.
Yep.
And by the way, too, this best of 7 series they're doing with Death Triangle, it's not good. No one cares. Nobody fucking cares.
So let's end it off like this real quick, and then it looks like the WrestleMania card's taking shape a little bit. And I want to talk about it because there's been some reports about it before we end it off. The biggest one is possibly The Rock's going to come back and wrestle Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. There's rumors he's going to show up in the Royal Rumble match and win it. I'm not necessarily against them doing Rock versus Roman, but I made it known. I don't know if I want it to be for the title. I feel like the match can just sell on its own. But I don't, you know, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But the fact that we're going to get The Rock wrestling, no matter what, it's going to be freaking huge for WrestleMania. And not just The Rock. There's rumors that John Cena is going to wrestle Logan Paul at WrestleMania. And that's basically confirmed because Logan Paul called him out on his podcast shortly after the Roman Reigns match at Crown Jewel. And that's going to be, I don't know how good the match itself will be, but it really doesn't matter because I feel like that match will do numbers because of Logan Paul's podcast numbers and the fact that John Cena is like working his way up in Hollywood and stuff like that. So that's going to be a huge match right there. Then we might possibly, and it looks like it's going to happen because of all the things we see. I know he came back last year, but this time it would be a full-on match. Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to actually have another match at WrestleMania, which I think is going to be freaking huge. I don't think we've had Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, and John Cena wrestle on the same show since. Actually, I don't think they've ever wrestled on the same show because I was going to say WrestleMania 19, but I forgot Cena technically didn't have a match there. So I don't think
they were on the same card technically. I think.
Yeah, but like they didn't have a match to get.
Yeah.
So it's like that's freaking wild because if there's rumors that if AEW buys out CM Punk's contract, that the opponent that Stone Cold Steve Austin could freaking wrestle is freaking CM Punk. And maybe is it probably 10 years too late by that point, 11 years too late, maybe. But the fact that we could possibly see CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin is freaking huge. Like I would love that. Like this.
I don't know if they do that though.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, the fact that Stone Cold in general is freaking wrestling.
Awesome.
Again, yeah, like this WrestleMania how it looks like it could be a freaking banger next year.
Especially with the way how Steve looked in that match against Kevin. He looked awesome. He looked like he could go. That was awesome. That match was good. I watched it again like about a month ago. I forgot like Steve was bumping.
He was.
I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I forgot how many bumps he took in that match.
I'm pretty sure he takes it. Doesn't he take like a suplex or like DDT onto the floor or something like that?
Suplex in the crowd. And then he takes a bump on the LED board.
Yeah.
Bump. Turnbuckle spot thing that they do. The ring post. LED ring post bump. But like that's like that match is whoever Steve faces, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I don't know who though, and Cody will be back by Mania too. So that's
Cody's going to be back in a month.
Yeah,
so he's going to be back for the Rumble.
So like WrestleMania is, I think, really looking awesome. Like I really excited about it. it will be the first WrestleMania to under the Triple H regime. And the thing is, too, like, we talk about all these big stars. That was the problem with Vince WWE. It's not just going to be the big stars he builds the show around. He's going to be freaking building the show around all the other talent, too, and stuff like that. We're going to get Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio, which I'm going to love. Edge will be back by then, having a match.
Yeah, we haven't seen Edge in forever.
Yeah, so I'm honestly really excited about WrestleMania next year. It's to the point where like I might have to kidnap you and like we might have to go to WrestleMania. That's how big.
You gonna kidnap me?
That's the only way you'll go. You won't go if I offer. You're just gonna be like, nah, I'm gonna stay home and watch WrestleMania. I'm gonna watch it at home.
I'm gonna be kidnapped.
But anyhow, I think that's and I don't think there's any other WWE topic we really need to talk about.
We covered it. Everything.
So let's end the show. We're about to end the show right here. So is there anything that you want to plug or promote?
Anything I want to promote? Yeah, Monday Night Raw tonight. Watch it, guys. It's awesome.
There you go. Monday Night Raw.
On Friday night, too, by the way.
I guess
watch
not
on Tuesdays. Don't watch the crappy Wednesday show. Watch the Monday, Tuesday, Friday shows, and not the other crappy AEW shows that are on. Watch Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. Those are the good ones.
What about the Thursday show that goes on Hulu, Main Event? What about that show?
That's probably better than all of AEW combined.
So we watch that or no?
I won't, but they can.
Okay. What about Level Up on Friday nights, right after SmackDown?
Oh my God, that's better than crappy Rampage. Yeah, absolutely.
What about
Yeah.
What about Talk and Smack on Saturdays? Can they
That's
watch
better
that?
Than every AEW show ever in the history of its promotion.
And then what about like post shows after pay-per-views? Can they watch those?
Yeah, because they're better than any AEW fucking post show that's ever been around. Especially when they're not trying to fight each other.
Okay, so Chris is giving you guys permission to watch all these shows. He may not watch these shows, but he's giving you guys permission to do it. And you know, you got to listen to Chris sometimes because he knows what he's talking about 50% of the time. Sometimes he doesn't know what he's talking about because
I maybe like 10% of the time. That's being fucking generous to say 50.
Okay, there you go.
It's 10% of the time.
You're all chatting shit. I can hear you from my fucking bed. Like, what the fuck are you talking about over here?
Nothing.
Are you sure? Are you positive?
No, I'm not positive.
What was that 50% thing earlier?
That Chris knows what he's talking about 50% of the time, and he thinks.
Well, there's the other 50.
That's being generous. It's like 10%.
So yeah, let's I'll plug my stuff. So obviously you can check out this channel for more wrestling content, like shows like this and shows like AEW Spoke, which Noah and some other guy hosts.
King A-Train. King A-Train.
Okay, I didn't know if he actually got him to host, so that's I didn't.
Yeah. It was Noah and King. That honestly, that might be a thing going forward. Actually, you guys do Aftershock and they do Spark.
And then you could check out Retro Wrestling Review Series on Wednesday. We're gonna be doing James,
Kuzan,
and Casey. No, not Casey.
Not Casey. No, Mike can't show up. It's just you, me, and Kuzan.
I'm gonna be doing Retro Wrestling Review Series for Fully Loaded 2000. That's gonna be awesome. And then and then we have other things going up like Fantasy Booking Series and all that type of stuff. So just go watch all that stuff. Go watch every single thing of it. And you know, maybe I may lose subscribers like I said before because I moved out of the sun when I wanted to, not when you guys wanted me to. But that's besides the point. But that's pretty much it, guys. And we will talk to you guys later. And just in case, since this is being recorded in the past, in the future, just in case.
Podcast has concluded. Be sure to check out more group discussion as far as WWE content is concerned, and check out more content from For the Win Productions.